And we're back for the grand final, game number 2, here presented by Shepparton GUF and MTG Grinders. I like the way that came out, Trent.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, well done, mate. Luke managed to take the first game. Very, very aggressive lines. Early thoughts here is not enough to really stifle it. Taking that Death Dealer just didn't get the job done. Luke's hand was solid, and his beatdown plan was good. He got there.
So knowing Luke's deck, knowing what he's playing against, what do you sideboard in and out?
From Kynan's perspective, Ashiok's gold. Whether you've got that plan implemented in the main deck, you should definitely have it in the board. Yeah, Ashiok is really, really good.
Just trying to take away as many threats as possible, as well as providing that planeswalker that they need to deal with.
Yeah, I suppose she takes threats away. Yeah, she just takes the threats, uses them against them. I suppose it's not as prevalent because he's not playing courses and stuff, which also allows you to generate more card advantage through the use. We see a Hornet Queen there. There's the Ashiok.
Oh, there's Ashiok right there.
And up we go on with the... And it provides a very slow clock, but a clock nonetheless.
Yep.
Fleecemane Lion. That's actually a pretty good grab to start with. Back to Nature out of the sideboard from Luke. Pretty sweet considering he's not playing courses. I'm assuming that's why he's playing the Back to Natures over Erase. We have seen his sideboard, and I don't believe I've seen any Erases, but 2 copies of Back to Nature.
Yep, and nice from Kynan to hit one of those Back to Natures.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about it anymore.
Luke's hand is packed. You've got Siege Rhino, you've got Death Dealer, Unoffensive, Upzone Charm. Looks like a Bile Blight as well. It's very strong. Kynan's hand.
I think it had a Courser and a Hornet Queen. I can see in there.
There's the Disdainful Stroke as well. Another key card in the matchup for Kynan. That's exactly where he wants to be. He wants to have that Disdainful Stroke going into turn 4.
I think there's an Urborg and a Cataract in there as well, and he comes out early with the Fleecemane Lion activation.
The aggression is real, and it's a line. Dark Betrayal as well. There's a sideboard card you don't generally see maybe coming in, but it certainly seems good here.
Well, it deals with the Siege Rhino, doesn't it?
Unoffensive, Death Dealer.
Yep. A whole lot of targets.
Yeah, it's actually pretty solid. Yeah. Well, it seems like it's going to do work one way or another in this deck. So yeah, no, that's props to Kynan on the read, I suppose. Doesn't matter whether he's been running it for a while or. But no, very good. He has to kill his own Fleecemane, which is.
And that's now exiled, is that right? Or it goes to the graveyard?
That will go to Luke's graveyard, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. I think that's what they were checking there.
Wouldn't Ashiok actually be on 3? If she goes from 3 to 5, take 2, go back down to 3? Not to 2?
Not sure.
Pretty positive.
Let's bring it up on the Gatherer and we'll check it.
Pretty solid on that one, considering I like the card. Ashiok. Okay.
Alright, so Ashiok comes into play with 3, it's +2, so it should have gone up to 5, -2.
Better mana cost with X.
For the Fleecemane Lion?
So it should be on 3.
So it should actually be on 3.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll pick that up later down the track.
But Kynan's already in a very good position. Having to put Luke, spend a turn dealing damage to clear out the Fleecemane Lion, and not using that Bile Blight on something more prevalent like Hornet Queen tokens and stuff like that. There we go. So we've got the fix. That's fine. Is that also a dig through time from Kynan? It might not be. No, it's just a Disdainful Stroke, the same one. So I'm seeing.
These people that flick their cards far too fast for us commentators to read.
Golly gosh, I don't know who that could be. Look at him. Look at him go. Yep. So yeah, a bit of turtle here, a bit of jockey, I suppose, trying to work out what the right line is. It's tough for Luke right now. He needs to make every right play and just try and limit Kynan's abilities, because Kynan's that resolved Ashiok, it's a problem. It just keeps whittling away, and it takes a removal spell. It doesn't take a creature because creatures aren't going to hit the field right now.
And in the finals, you can take a little more time because they're not timed rounds.
Yeah, that's still like to play at a decent rate. Yeah. But yeah, You're right. And like I said, Luke's a pretty calculated guy, so he'd be making the most of the time that he has. Obviously, Kynan's one and the same. He got to the finals by... You can't get there by being lazy, so he's on a good deck and he must be pretty solid, so... A bit of Siege Rhino.
A bit of Siege Rhino action.
And he's fine with that. He's happy to let that resolve. Doesn't even think about the stroke.
Well, he doesn't have the mana for it, so...
Sure, well, that's probably why he doesn't think about it.
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense.
And let's face it, he's drawing the removal card.
+2.
So he doesn't really care about it attacking either. I mean, if need be, he can use the removal and attack 3 for 2.
Yeah, it's fine. That seems fine. Yeah, but...
I mean, he certainly wants to build up to that Hornet Queen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's where his game plan lies. One Barblight's already in the bin from Luke.
From the Ashok.
Yeah, and he can take it as slow as he wants. As long as he's controlling the board, he can go as slow as he wants. It doesn't phase him.
Yep.
And there's the Dark Betrayal.
There's the Dark Betrayal.
That's off the top, so done work already.
Yep.
And
I think we're going to see a Catarid here.
Yeah. That guy that blocks, of course, it goes into the red zone and knocks Luke down to 19.
I'm not going to say that I predicted that turn, but I predicted that turn.
Oh, he must be good at this game.
And so he's left with the 2 mana open for the stroke and the
Queen.
The Queen and her buddies.
Yeah, she's a good guy.
What do we got in Luke's hand there?
We got Anafenza, Abzan Charm, some other good cards over here. Death Dealer.
Anafenza is something that he really wants to make stick.
Absolutely. And he can make it stick. He should be... I mean, most players would think that there wouldn't be, say, a Nullify or a Dissolve in these Sultai Reanimator decks. Maybe in the Sultai Control, like Villainous Wealth kind of thing, but he should have a pretty good read, if not know exactly what he's playing against, and that's not Wealth.
Yeah, because the Anafenza really affects the graveyard of the Whip player.
Yeah. That's right, and it's a good guy. Like it evades Disdainful Strike, and it deals with Corso pretty handily as well. So yeah, it's definitely a solid card to have access to, and it's done work all weekend for Luke. He's done a really Anafenza's done a lot of work.
Yep.
It's a pain to deal with. The 4 toughness demands a lot more respect than. I think the cut in the cut after the draw, before main phase.
That's right.
Yep.
So he gets the information from the top of the library, being the Yavimaya Coast, and but Kynan doesn't get to play it.
And that's actually
now he can can he stroke
he can stroke it, yes.
Yep.
Because it still costs us 5.
Yes.
The converted mode cost us 5.
Let's see if he decides to play it.
No, I think he cares too much. He may. Wouldn't be interested. He's thinking about it. I suppose if he does stroke here, he does get the land off the top, but that land is also... The land off the top's what he wants for the Hornet Queen, because he can slam Hornet Queen on the turn that he gets the Yamava Coast. But if he does counter that, then obviously he gets a land off the top, sure.
But he can't cast the Queen.
But he can't cast the Hornet Queen, and he doesn't have the Disdainful Stroke. And he'd probably want that for something a little bit more serious, such as... a Siege Rhino, or a Wingmate Rock, or an Elspeth. So, probably best to let that go.
Something that's a little more threatening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here goes the Ashok again.
Ooh, quickly to snag that right out of it. I'll take that, thank you.
There's almost snatched that out of that exile pile.
I'll have that. There's a Thought Seize.
Yeah. So we get to look at Luke's hand here.
The second Back to Nature.
We've got a Charm, a Back to Nature, and a... Reclamation.
The Raksha.
Death Dealer.
On the wrong deck again, man.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't have Reclamation Sage.
He should have Reclamation Sage.
He's an aggressive player.
Reclamation Sage is aggressive.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
It's more aggressive than Back to Nature.
Turn 1, Elvish Mystic. Turn 2, my 2/1 for 3.
That's it.
Yeah, cool. Destroy nothing, go. Yeah, it sounds like an idea. That's definitely a line.
Alrighty, so what does the... back to the game, thanks, man. What does the...
Anafenza.
Yeah, do to the cards that go to the graveyard?
any creature that an opponent controls
Yep.
goes to the graveyard. Would go to the graveyard, gets exiled.
Gets exiled.
So yeah.
So it's not spells. It's just creatures.
It's just creatures.
Yep.
But that's all that's important in this reanimator list. They're not looking to bring back spells.
Yep.
Cards like Whip of Erebos and Soul of Innistrad, they don't look to bring back cards. They bring back creature cards, specifically creature cards. So Anafenza's ability is actually perfect for this matchup.
And Ashiok's ticked up to 7.
And having a Wingmate Rock and a Fleeceman line, has got access to some pretty good...
pretty heavy hitters there.
Yeah, pretty good creatures. Luke looks like he's drawn his 6th land in the form of Urbog. Probably not what he wants to see right now. He probably wants to add a little bit more pressure. But, so that'd be 4. So Ashok will tick down to 3. Not quite where he needs. If that was 1 lower, then potentially killing the Ashok with the Abzan Charm. This is potentially for 2. Looking for 2 off the lose 2, draw 2.
Make sure he taps the right mana.
Yeah, I can't see counters. But yeah, draw 2, lose 2. Which is probably the best way to be doing that. I mean, there's no Doomwake Giant right now.
Yep, and he's just looking for some extra gas.
And he does have the back to nature, so obviously Doomwake Giant doesn't do anything. Yeah, he just needs more gas. He needs to keep gassing. He needs to find a hero's downfall. He needs to draw more cards, get that Ashiok out of the way, get the fight back to me versus you.
Yeah.
Kind of game, because this is what Ashiok does. You're just a pain to this deck. I mean, he's bought himself a card in the form of Bile an attack in the form of Anafenza, and X amount of cards off the top of the library. He makes himself a Fleeceman Lion again, and actually he can monstrous.
I was going to say, can he monstrous the Fleeceman?
He can monstrous the Fleeceman with the white mana from Caryatid, but instead goes with the Queen. And peasants.
Knowing that there's no Bile in hand, or having a strong sense anyway. I think it was 2 turns ago, the Thoughtseize.
The Thoughtseize was resolved before the Abzan Charm, but you can probably deduce that the Windswept Heath was probably off the Abzan Charm as well. So, but still, 4 cards from Luke. Still the Urbog from last turn. Back to nature, and a second copy of Anafenza, and a 3rd card?
Well, the Back to Nature does very little at this point in time, and the Hornet Queen just provides a whole lot of board presence.
Yeah, that's right. This is the position that Luke does not ever want to get into.
Yep. The Anafenza does nothing.
Yeah, attacking here, like... Sure, he attacked for 4. He trades with a 1/1 token. That's terrible. Like, let's be honest, we never want to do that. But he might not have the line. That's the problem. This whip deck can just do this kind of thing to the Abzan lists, and
to pilot back to a different conversation we were having. This is where Mastercore would be better.
Yeah, righto. Okay. That's good. Well done. You got there.
Yeah, eventually.
You proved your point.
Mastercore and Standard. That's what we want, people. Back to the game.
Okay, back to the game. Thanks, Dave. Old man magic. But this is where he gets aggressive. He can just right click pretty hard here. Probably leaves 1 Hornet Queen. He might even he just leaves 1 Hornet at home.
Yeah.
He can attack with the board. Monstrous his guy if he wants to.
I was going to say, you possibly even leave the Queen herself at home so you can block with it.
Yeah, you could leave Queen, Insect token or Hornet token at home. I think you definitely go with the Fleeceman Lion and say, I'm going to attack you. Because if he blocks there, you can make it monstrous. You have that Caryatid. There's a Siege Run off the top. That's pretty good. That's the kind of gas that he needs. I mean, it's no Hornet Queen takedown, but it's...
Could get countered, though.
Yeah, that Disdainful Strike from early. Still coming into play. The decision not to Murderous Cut early on, paying dividends now. So, yeah.
Now, if... Hypothetically, if he attacks with the Anafenza and you block with the Hornet Queen... Does the Hornet Queen get exiled because they both die at the same time?
Yeah, state-based actions will trigger.
Yep.
And it will check when it goes to the graveyard, and
Yep.
it will be a replacement effect and go to exile.
There we
So
go.
it will not get it.
Yep. So just holding back the one Wasp there.
Yep. I'm still surprised he's not going in with that Fleeceman line. Like, he's got nothing to lose. Whether he's seen it or not.
Well,
I mean,
you mightn't see that he can monstrous it.
Being in a match like this, it's very high tense. It's very quiet. There's a lot of people watching, and it gets very intense. Intense is the word.
So, what you don't see here is that there's like 30 people around these guys watching on.
Exactly, and I mean he's played tightly to get here all day, so he obviously deserves the seat, and he's doing very well right now in game 2. He's looking really well prepped to take this down. Luke just can't. He's just getting the life choked out of him. He can't breathe. He can't draw the relevant spells, and
the life total 17-7. It's exactly where the whip player wants to be.
That's right. There's just not much Luke can do, to be completely honest. I mean, what's the top deck? What's the out here? Dave, what's the out?
Well, I suppose you're looking for something like an end hostilities.
Yeah.
It still doesn't deal with the Ashok, of course. Yeah, you're on 7 life. I don't even know if Luke's playing into hostilities.
Oh, he's jumping to 2 here. Oh, he's going to 1.
Going to 1. Well, he can't block any of them. Keeping back the Cataract and the Fleeceman.
It's rough. It's rough. But this is, like I said, this is where the and he's going to concede before the Ashok trigger. He wants to show no more. He's done with this game. He's going to take his bets on the play.
So just conceding before the Ashok so you don't give away further information.
Yeah, he's seen the 2 back to natures.